Hello and welcome to the first video in the Hurricane Hazard series for South Carolina Hurricane Preparedness Month. My name is Steve LaVoie and I am a meteorologist with the National Weather Service office in Columbia, South Carolina. Tropical cyclones bring a myriad of hazards to the Palmetto State that can be felt hundreds of miles from the coast, including strong winds and tornadoes, heavy rainfall, and flooding. The coast can also be impacted by storm surge, dangerous waves, and rip currents. Our office has teamed up with the other three offices that serve the state of South Carolina, along with the State Climate Office, to bring you a 5-part series on these hazards. Today's video will cover strong winds and tornadoes. As I mentioned, the state of South Carolina is covered by 4 National Weather Service forecast offices. Here at our office in West Columbia, we cover what's called the Midlands, the counties shown in green. This includes cities such as Columbia, Sumter, Aiken, and Lexington. The counties in cyan, known as the Upstate, is covered by the office in Greer and includes the cities of Rock Hill, Greenville, and Spartanburg. The coast of South Carolina is covered by 2 different offices. If you live in the Low Country, the counties in light purple, your office is in North Charleston and includes the cities of Charleston, Mount Pleasant, and Summerville. Finally, the PD and Grand Strand in the northeastern part of the state is covered by the office in Wilmington, North Carolina, and includes the cities of Florence, Myrtle Beach, and Conway. Here is an overview of the topics we will be covering in today's presentation. We'll start with what a hurricane is and the impact of their winds, and then move on to tornadoes, which can develop within a hurricane. So what is a hurricane exactly? The formal definition states that a hurricane is an area of low pressure that forms over the tropical or subtropical oceans of the North Atlantic and northeastern Pacific Oceans, with winds of at least 74 miles per hour. Tropical cyclones, including hurricanes, need to meet a set of criteria to receive their classification. These criteria include being an area of low pressure that produces sustained convection or thunderstorms, having a warm core with the strongest winds near the center of circulation, and having no frontal boundaries associated with it. Non-tropical cyclones can transition to tropical cyclones under the right conditions, typically when they lose their fronts and their strongest winds contract to near the center. Likewise, a tropical cyclone can lose their tropical characteristics and become what is called post-tropical. An area of low pressure having a mix of tropical and non-tropical characteristics is called a subtropical cyclone. Hurricane Debby in 2024 became subtropical while it meandered off the South Carolina coast prior to landfall, while Hurricane Ian in 2022 lost its tropical characteristics shortly after landfall in South Carolina. There are several components of a hurricane that contribute to its iconic appearance on satellite imagery. The feature most associated with hurricanes is the area of clear skies at the center of the cyclone, known as the eye. In order for clouds and thunderstorms to form, air must rise upwards. Skies are typically clear within the eye because air is descending at the center after rising in the surrounding eye wall, discouraging the development of clouds and thunderstorms within the eye itself. Winds are typically light or even calm within the eye of a hurricane. This is also where the minimum central pressure is observed. The most intense thunderstorms are frequently found in a small radius outside of the eye, known as the eye wall. It is here that the strongest winds associated with a hurricane are typically found, and can be the most dangerous part of the hurricane in terms of damaging winds. Moving away from the center, you find a typically circular mass of thunderstorms underneath what we call the central dense overcast. Winds decrease as you move away from the center of a hurricane, but can still be hurricane force in sustained winds and/or wind gust for 100 or more miles outside of the eye wall. Even further removed from the center are the rain bands of the hurricane. As a tropical cyclone approaches, you can see these bands rotate around the center, bringing a period of moderate to heavy rain and stronger wind gust. Tornadoes are also most common within these rain bands. When talking about hurricanes, the Saffir-Simpson wind scale is often brought up. So what is it? Meteorologists use the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale to rate the maximum sustained winds of a hurricane into one of 5 categories. Once a hurricane has sustained winds of at least 111 miles per hour, it becomes a Category 3 or major hurricane. While the winds are higher within major hurricanes, other hazards such as the tornado and heavy rain threats occur with all hurricanes, and you should take appropriate action when any hurricane threatens your community. Tropical cyclones with maximum sustained winds between 39 and 73 miles per hour are called tropical storms and will receive a name from the National Hurricane Center when they first reach these wind speeds. Tropical cyclones with winds under 39 miles per hour are called tropical depressions. So where do tropical cyclones form on our planet? The short answer is they form over any large body of water that has deep, warm water, low but non-zero wind shear, the difference in wind speed and direction with height, and a sufficient spin or Coriolis force. It should be noted that a tropical cyclone can overcome one or more of these requirements depending on other atmospheric conditions. You'll notice a lack of tropical cyclones near the equator, the white line at the center of the map. The Coriolis force, which creates the spin needed for tropical cyclones, is zero at the equator and increases at the poles, making it difficult for tropical cyclones to develop here. You'll also see only one track in the waters on either side of South America. Conditions in the southeastern Pacific and South Atlantic Oceans are not favorable for tropical cyclone development at any time of the year due to cold water and high wind shear. But, as you can see off the coast of Brazil, there are always exceptions to the rule. So, what is the difference between a hurricane, a typhoon, and a cyclone? Nothing at all. These are the regional terms used across the world. The term typhoon is exclusive to the northwestern Pacific Ocean, while the rest of the world uses the term cyclone. Coming back to our part of the world, when should South Carolinians be prepared for a hurricane? The National Hurricane Center defines hurricane season as June 1st through November 30th. The vast majority of Atlantic hurricanes form within these 6 months. In fact, since 1851, only 12 Atlantic hurricanes have formed during the other 6 months. While there have been 58 off-season tropical storms, most have developed in either late May or early December, just outside the defined bounds of hurricane season. Let's now take a look at a few hurricane facts for South Carolina. Since 1851, 25 hurricanes have made landfall along the coast of South Carolina, perhaps fewer than you were expecting. Doing the math, this is roughly one hurricane every 7 years, with the last one being Hurricane Ian in 2022. Having said that, you can have more than one landfalling hurricane in a given year. This most recently occurred in South Carolina during the 2004 season with Charlie and Gaston, both Category 1 hurricanes at landfall. Hurricane landfalls are most common in South Carolina in the months of August and September. The earliest landfalling South Carolina hurricane occurred in June 1867, and the latest in October 1899. South Carolina has never had a landfalling Category 5 hurricane, but there have been 3 Category 4 landfalls, most recently Hurricane Hugo in 1989. Melissa Griffin from the State Climate Office will have more information on historic hurricane landfalls in her presentation later this month. We've discussed hurricane winds extensively in this video, but what are the specific impacts of these winds when they impact land? A tropical storm with sustained winds between 39 and 73 miles per hour can produce damage similar to a severe thunderstorm, but on a much larger scale. These impacts include downed trees and power lines and minor damage to well-built homes. It should be noted that wind gusts within a strong tropical storm can reach hurricane force, producing pockets of more significant damage. A hurricane with sustained winds between 74 and 110 miles per hour can cause extensive damage to trees and power lines, which could fall on homes and other property. A well-built home may also see siding or roof damage from winds of this magnitude. Most mobile and manufactured homes are not designed to withstand winds over 80 miles per hour and should not be used for shelter from any hurricane. Winds of this magnitude most recently impacted the Western Midlands and CSRA when the core of Hurricane Helene passed through in 2024. Hurricane Hugo brought strong winds well inland, including to Shaw Air Force Base in Sumter County. Finally, a major hurricane with maximum sustained winds greater than 110 miles per hour causes devastating to catastrophic damage. Well-built homes can have significant damage from a landfalling major hurricane. Next up, we will cover tropical cyclone tornadoes. So what is a tornado exactly? The formal definition states that a tornado is a violently rotating column of air extending from the base of a thunderstorm to the ground. Most of the tornadoes that touch down in our forecast area typically develop along a line of thunderstorms. We may use the term squall line or quasi-linear convective system, QLCS, to describe these multi-cell thunderstorms. Tornadoes can also develop from discrete thunderstorms known as supercells, thunderstorms with rotating updrafts, and of course, tropical cyclones. NWS meteorologists routinely conduct storm surveys after severe weather events to determine if a tornado touched down. Staff conducting the survey are looking for cyclonic and/or convergent patterns in the debris. With tropical cyclone tornadoes, this can often be more difficult to distinguish from other hurricane damage. This is why meteorologists will review radar imagery to determine if the damage may have been caused by a tornado, since the rotation associated with the parent thunderstorm appears on radar. For more information on commonly used radar products used by NWS meteorologists, please watch episode 2 of our web series, In the Field with NWS Columbia. Previous studies have shown that there is a specific part of a landfalling tropical cyclone where tornadoes are most likely to develop. Tornado development is most common within the rain bands of a tropical cyclone in what is called the right front or northeast quadrant of a system. In fact, very few tornadoes develop west of the center of circulation. Tornadoes need low-level wind shear to develop, and wind shear is often maximized north and east of the center, where the forward motion is moving in the same general direction of the tropical cyclone. Wind gusts are typically higher here as well, and lower east of the track, where the forward motion is moving in the opposite direction of the rotational velocity of the tropical cyclone. In terms of intensity, tropical cyclone tornadoes are typically, but not always, weaker than those spawned from severe thunderstorms. So what type of impacts can we expect from tropical cyclone tornadoes? The majority of tornadoes, especially those that are produced by tropical cyclones, are rated EF0 or EF1 on the enhanced Fujita scale, producing winds of 65 to 110 miles per hour. Winds of this strength can knock down trees and power lines and cause light to moderate damage to well-built homes and produce other property damage. In September 2024, Hurricane Helene produced 11 tornadoes in the NWS Columbia forecast area, 10 of which were associated with the rain bands northeast of the track of Helene's core. They were all rated EF0 or EF1 on the enhanced Fujita scale. On occasion, stronger tornadoes can develop from a landfalling tropical cyclone or their remnants. In August 1994, a F3 tornado produced significant damage to portions of Lexington, South Carolina, as the remnants of Tropical Storm Beryl passed well to our west. The remnants of Tropical Storm Fred in 2021 took a similar track and produced 5 EF0 or EF1 tornadoes across our forecast area. A few weeks earlier, Tropical Storm Elsa produced a tornado in Clarendon County, South Carolina, and produced notable convergent damage as it moved through a crop field, as shown here. Not all landfalling tropical cyclones produce tornadoes, and the large-scale weather pattern plays a role in whether conditions are favorable for their development. The remnants of Hurricane Francis in 2004 was a prolific tornado producer for South Carolina, producing a record 45 confirmed tornadoes across the state. So how can you protect your home from extreme winds associated with tropical cyclones and tornadoes? When a tropical storm or hurricane watch is issued for your community, take time to prepare your home by securing any loose objects on your property. You should also trim any loose branches from trees on your property and park your vehicles inside a garage or away from any trees. Closer to the coast, where the winds will be the strongest, consider boarding up your home. During a hurricane, if you are not asked to evacuate, the safest place to ride out a landfalling tropical cyclone will be in the interior of your home, on the ground floor, away from any windows. And that will conclude our first presentation in the Hurricane Hazard series. Please make sure to follow NWS Columbia on social media, and for the latest weather information, please visit weather.gov/CAE. Our next video will be on storm surge and coastal impacts and should be up on our YouTube channel sometime next week. Thank you for watching. I'm Meteorologist Steve LaVoie signing off. Remember to always remain weather aware.